We are now entering a very new era. Because I know you started from the ground up and you built an org of about 15,000 people. Like when you have to recap that, how would you look at that?
And one thing I learned during those days was taking risk. Second, I would say was eagerness to learn.
The beauty of the era of artificial intelligence is it's changing almost every 3 months to 6 months.
So I'll only use one word, and that should define AI and agentic AI. And that one word is autonomous. The decision which you and me used to take is no more required.
Right.
It's going to be that AI tool or whatever you want to call it. I think first the team should not worry what will happen to our jobs. Their jobs are going to get elevated. It's not going to go away. The use of AI will enhance the capability of the recruiter itself.
Hi everyone, welcome to an absolutely fascinating episode of the Talent Superheroes. It's the right episode to kick off season 2. Today I have the pleasure of hosting an absolute maven in talent acquisition. Anshul Bhargava is a respected thought leader, known for mastering the art of hiring at scale, building agile, future-ready teams across industries and global markets. His expertise involves leveraging AI, automation, and hybrid hiring strategies. And he solved some of the biggest hiring challenges enterprises face today. He's helped scale talent at HCL, WNS, Infosys BPM, Tech Mahindra BPS, and currently heads global talent acquisition at Firstsource Solutions, which is absolutely rocking the world in the last couple of years. Anshul, it's a great pleasure to welcome you to the Talent Superheroes podcast. But what I'm most excited about is Anshul's a fascinating cricketer and absolutely avid fan of cricket. So tell me, Anshul, how do you find time to play cricket on Saturdays?
Thanks. First of all, thanks for inviting me. So that's a nirvana for me. I think I need to take some stress out if while the job is fun. But if I need to take some stress out, it is on those 3-4 hours. We play T20.
Nice.
And it is fascinating. But I do take time.
You are probably one of the only TA leaders I know who plays every weekend, and that took cricket, right? So you play T20 every weekend. You have a league going on.
Yeah,
Batsman, bowler.
Oh, I keep.
Dhoni.
And if I get a chance, if my young batsman in the team doesn't hit the run rate, then I do get in. But otherwise, batting is less. But I enjoy captaining my team.
There you go. There you go. No, lovely. You give a very different, unique vantage point. Let's dive into the podcast. Apart from being a cricketer, you've had a very unconventional and bold career journey, right? You moved across operations, training, sales, and now talent acquisition. What drove you to make these pivots, right? And how has that shift kind of shaped your leadership approach in talent acquisition?
Good question. So, see, I'll tell you, I come from a business background, and one thing I learned during those days was taking risk. Even if you go through my LinkedIn, a lot of my bosses and supervisors have said this guy has a lot of risk-taking ability, and I think that really helped me. So I think risk-taking ability was one. Second, I would say was eagerness to learn. Always hungry. Whatever I can pick up from anybody, anywhere, I would love to learn, and I think that also helped.
Nice.
And last, the old saying, hard work always pays off. And I think that was the last thing. You put in your effort, results will come in. Always will come. So big believer of these three fundamentals. Yeah.
It's actually fascinating, right? Because relentless curiosity or the desire to learn means that we can go do so many different things, right? And it actually shows, right? Because I'm sure when you did operations or training to doing sales, each of those facets were very different. And when you get into talent acquisition, you're kind of applying in a leadership role, operations, you're coaching people, you're also applying all of sales to sell one person to one. It's fascinating. And
by the way, you forgot, by education, I'm a hardcore electronics hardware engineer.
That's so unique. from going from a hardware engineering background to ops to training. I mean, absolutely. I think most leaders are pretty fearless, and I think that shows. But I want to dive back into your experience right up top, right? I really want to understand what kind of defined you there, because I know you started from the ground up and you built an org of about 15,000 people, right? Now they're two very different orgs when you enter and when you exit. Like when you have to recap that, how would you look at that?
Uh, you know, One is I was very young to understand the words like growth mindset in those days. But
Uh,
now, when I've read so many books on this subject, I realized what we were unknowingly doing was that growth mindset.
right.
That was one. Second, the most important thing, enjoy what you do.
Nice.
I always say, even if you have to, sweep the floor, do it with the best of your ability. I think,
Right.
and that's what made. And third, I think the organizations that I've been, the seniors, the juniors over there have been very, very inspirational. So again, the same learning ability that you spoke about earlier came in, the curiosity came in, and so that helped us to build those organizations. Very, very proud that wherever I work, all the 3 or 4 organizations I've worked, learned so much. They have given me so much, which I'm able to help others right now.
So it's interesting you talk about growth mindset, because I hold a CEO session once every month with all new joiners, and I talk to them exactly about the concept of a growth mindset. It takes a lot of unlearning, but I think you live life in a very different mindset or a different level, not just work, right, but life in general. So it was really good validation for me to hear that from you as well.
No, no,
Uh,
no, no. So that comes actually, and many a times when you read, you start seeing what you've done is written in the book.
right, right,
So
exactly, exactly.
that,
And some people are just born with it, and I think growth mindset is absolutely apt because we are now entering a very new era, right?
yeah,
um, and the beauty of the era of artificial intelligence is it's changing almost every 3 months to 6 months in
three
terms of
months,
maturity.
7 days, 7 days, 3 months is a lot of time. Seven
I,
days, you will get something new coming your way. Yeah,
I agree. I agree. I was being a little more cautious, but 7 days also causes a lot of anxiety and FOMO as well,
yeah.
given how the rate of change is, right? And I know you were one of the earliest voices talking about agentic AI, right? And you're always progressive. You're a risk taker. So, for somebody who's kind of hearing the term for the first time, can you kind of explain, some of this so that our listeners can gauge and kind of first level up, and then we can go a little bit deeper?
So I'll only use one word, and that should define AI and agentic AI. And that one word is autonomous.
Uh-huh.
So if the AI is able to make, and I'll relate it to our world on recruitment.
Mm-hmm.
So see, there were a lot of tools, and we've been working on them along with you as well, where they would help you to take the decision.
Correct.
Now that agentic AI is going to take the decision based on the tool. So the
Correct.
decision which you and me used to take is no more required.
Right.
It's going to be that AI tool or whatever you want to call it is going to do it. So the word autonomous, if you highlight it, bold it, that is exactly what is agentic AI.
Oh, and I'm so glad you called that out, because in the world of recruitment there is so much skepticism around AI, because I think marketing of AI has come way before, right? And people have
Yeah.
put the same wrapper around it, and the same chatbot started getting called so many different nouns, and now will now get called agentic AI. But I'm so glad you hit the nail on the head. Unless the AI takes a decision of its own, it's not agentic, right?
Yeah.
It has to
Yeah.
be autonomous. It has to
Autonomous.
be independent. So I'm glad, and tell me, how do you see AI kind of taking over in recruitment, right? Because there is always this battle about human touch versus AI. So, I want to hear your perspective on that.
So I'll again make it very simple. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So anything which is repetitive, which
Mm-hmm.
in our world it is so many things, which is rule based,
Mm-hmm.
which doesn't require some fundamentals of the human side of it,
Mm-hmm.
will be all done by AI.
Nice.
And let me just walk you through the process in a very simple manner.
Mm-hmm.
What we do in a typical ITAS. you will get a JD.
Mhm.
So the JD creation is one job.
Correct.
That's done by a tool or an AI now.
Absolutely.
Then comes to post it on any of the platform from where you hire. That is very easy. That was done 10 years back. Now also it is getting done. Then comes the main, which was the recruiter's role, where you had to go through the CVs and then give the saying that this is suitable, this is not suitable. That is one which has been it's a generative AI tool which is helping people now. So it matches it and it gives a very good result on that.
Right.
The next is when a recruiter used to talk to a person and does the basic HR checks,
Yeah.
validations.
Yeah.
I think that has moved into the first agentic AI recruiter, and we are doing all this stuff,
Nice.
as we are speaking.
Mhm.
And next is the assessments, which have been there. Again, it is very easy. It's rule based, so you can do it whether you
Correct.
have a tech assessment or a psychometric or any simple process domain, as we call it in our world.
Mhm.
All that has moved into agentic AI again.
Mhm.
Last piece, I think, where one human touch has to come in, I would say so far it is, we are testing it, but it's not reached the level of comfort where I would say a human comes in. But then after that, once you give it, again, the salary calculations, the offer letters, and even the onboarding, it's all AI. So I think if you break it into eight box process, seven are done, one is left.
Correct.
Not a day we are not far, that will also be taken care of, but I still think we are, as we speak, we require 3 more months on that.
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad you didn't say 7 days. There is still a little bit of time for
So
people to
there's a
prepare.
lot of work, and there's a concept, if I get a chance we'll explain it later on, but that's basically meaning about what I said. The seventh or the fifth box in the block is still waiting.
Right. Hey, given that AI can do a lot of these mechanical tasks pretty quickly, and not just mechanical, right? Intelligent tasks of identifying there are folks. And interestingly, we are launching a two-way AI interview that actually is showing phenomenal results where it's able to assess, have an unbiased, honest conversation with the candidate, give them a great empathetic experience, and then come back and rate and say, here are the top 5 people in your entire funnel that you should really focus on, right? And I
Correct.
think AI has actually progressed to being able to do this. Given all of this, right? So where do you think human beings should really focus on this, right? Like, what's the benefit that humans can deliver in the talent acquisition process?
I think, first of all, you need to learn what is happening around the world.
Mhm.
And I'm talking only from a TA perspective
Mhm.
right now, just wearing the TA head's hat.
Mhm.
I think first the team should not worry what is happening, what will happen to our jobs. They should be pretty confident their jobs are not going to their jobs are going to get elevated. It's not going to go away. So
Correct.
first and the foremost, as TA heads or leaders, we should give that comfort to the team, because
Mhm.
then the learning kicks in.
Mhm.
The moment the fear goes out, the learning kicks in, and
Correct.
that learning is very important. So and then start using, because what it's doing is the simple thing of, let's go back to the typewriter age where computers came and made it easy. The same thing is happening right now in the recruitment space.
Correct.
So that is going to that learning of the AI is very important. I think secondly, the use of AI
Mhm.
will enhance the capability of the recruiter itself. So
Mhm.
what you are doing in 2 hours, you are going to do it in 2 minutes. So
Correct.
you have the other 1 hour and 58 minutes for doing something more productive.
Correct.
So once people start reacting to that, I think it's pretty becomes very easier.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. And psychological safety often, people tend to be in denial, but the change is so rapid that the faster you adapt to it, the more effective you'll be. And if I have to give an example, right, Anshul, I was thinking about this. If you don't have to do the mundane things, then instead of talking to 500 people and figuring out the right 50, you can give 50 people a phenomenal experience, right? So they are
Correct.
excited about, coming. And
Correct.
I think talent acquisition, so nobody's saying sales jobs are going away. Okay. And I think talent acquisition is selling one job between one candidate and one hiring manager, which means the buyer and the seller and the product also are different, right?
Correct.
So I don't think there is a fear in terms of the job going away, but I think can you be a far more effective mediator, and can you personalize the engagement on both sides and bring that value so people are excited, right? I think that's the opportunity even at scale, because now that scale was always a challenge when you're dealing with like thousands of people, right? It became very
Right.
right. So I think that's a good segue, right? And into like the next piece that I want to understand from you. You know, getting your teams aligned is not easy, right? Because different people see, obviously, not everybody will have a growth mindset, right? And as leaders, I know we jump, we're excited by change, we want to ride the wave. But I'm sure at your scale, with the teams you have, how scattered they are globally, every person is unique, right? So, how should leaders get their TA teams aligned with the vision of AI powered recruitment?
Again, the first point is very simple. You make them realize. I'll use your word of psychological safety. So that is the one basic one. Second is, you should always enable them to learn the next competency.
Mm-hmm.
And once they are learning that, it becomes easy. And third, why are we working? We are working for the candidates. We are working for the organization,
Correct.
right? So your candidate experience is the foremost thing as per the TA leader, as per me, at
Mm-hmm.
least. Once you are able to satisfy that need, which will AI is going to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is one which is going to again help them realize that fact, and they are realizing sooner or later. They are realizing. And the last, I would say, is the overall environment is enlifting them to do something better in their lives as well.
Right.
So the mundane tasks are going away, and they are doing, and they are becoming content creators rather than only TA people. I think that all these are contributing right now.
Actually, TA folks don't realize. I mean, most TA folks end up killing their weekends, right? Because hiring happens all the time, and there is rarely a concept of balance. I feel like for the first time, there is a potential for balance coming through for TA, where you can still deliver numbers, deliver a better quality, and the promise of balance, I think, might result in people, having better lives, because that, I think, should be the biggest draw as well.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
that said, I think it's too much of a promised land to imagine. So I
Right.
sometimes worry, because I feel like, Saturdays and Sundays is when all of TA is alive, pretty much most often than not.
Yeah. I take the 3 hours off from there, no, with max.
Yeah, did you play this Saturday as well?
Yeah, yeah, we played. We played. We
Oh,
lost, but
nice.
we played. We enjoyed the game.
Oh,
Boys played
nice.
really well. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nice, nice. I think, yeah, see, that's the kind of commitment, right? And I think, those things will become hopefully a lot more possible. Uh, and
Let's see. Let's see. The
Yeah.
volumes are also increasing. The businesses are not going away with the AI, so don't worry. So it's good place to be in right
Oh,
now.
of course, of course. You'd always want to be in a place where there's a lot of change, right? And I think a change means new skills, a lot of, it's a very
Correct.
exciting time generally in
Correct.
the world.
Correct.
Um, let's now kind of switch gears, okay? I really want to get for our audience to kind of learn from some of your core facets, right? I think you introduced this whole EC framework, right? And it's very unique: emotional intelligence, creativity, ethics, right? And when I read it, and I felt like, these are three areas you believe human will continue to lead. Can you double click a little bit on this so people can understand, this whole EC framework, and then we'll go from there.
So while I also read it somewhere, it's not, but I adapted it way back a year back when I read it in one of the books. I don't read that much, but whenever I read, I ensure that I highlight. So this actually fascinated me a lot.
Uh-huh.
And then I tried to translate into a word, and it was fitting so beautifully. I said, and you asked a question earlier, what is one humane thing? So I think these are the three humane things which will be there.
Uh-huh.
So let's start with emotional intelligence. What it is all about? It is about, human emotions, which
Uh-huh.
are very, very complex. And in our world, they become more complex because try to understand from a candidate's perspective.
Uh-huh.
Many of they are walking into the first time after their college.
Right.
So the
Right.
complexity of it is way big, so I think that's one part of it. Then let's go to the empathy part of it, which is a very typical human behavior, which I connected with emotional intelligence itself. So I think that's the second one. And the third one is about the continued, emotions which keep on pouring during the interview, which happens.
Right.
So I think that still is a little bit complex thread which AI is trying to solve it. As I said, 3 months down the line, this might become obsolete, but right now it's very relevant.
Correct.
So that is on the AI. Let's go on the creative. See, what does AI? AI also gets a feed in from us and then creates a lot of things. So you would have seen, that Ghibli
Yeah.
thing and all that's going off. But it has taken the creator of Ghibli would be a person who has created, and then it is adapted. The
Correct.
multiplication has happened first, but the creation has not been done.
Yeah.
I'm saying the creativity of that person still holds, the human holds the value over there.
Correct.
So the creative process in the brain is something which AI has a little bit of more time to go through it.
Correct.
And the last E is the most important, ethics. It is becoming autonomous. So just be very, very careful whether it is taking the right decision
Yeah.
ethically. It is not, or it is what we call as unbiased conscious. You would have heard it many, many times, but how it is relating. And I think um, way back then this was introduced, AI was introduced. There were certain companies where, in fact, in US, I don't remember the company, but where they had to pull it off because
Yeah.
it was so biased towards one race, and that was because it was fed in the data of that race.
Correct. Correct.
So again, it is very data spread, and so we have to be very careful. So I think this is the three components which I call it ECE, that any AI user who's using it, whether it's a absolutely ground level person or even a CEO, if you're not careful on this, you might overdo something, which will be very difficult to take it back. So we'll have to be very careful, and it becomes more imperative for us from HR that we are very, very careful on these three terms.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I think you called it out very beautifully. I think yes, unconscious bias from an ethics lens becomes very important because if the AI and I know India still doesn't have that law, but US, Europe, Australia,
Yeah.
most developed nations have clear laws around this.
Yeah,
And I think right now the government is fighting the AI revolution. The regulations are just going to follow suit.
for
So I
us.
expect that with that kind of a revolution, they're all still trying to figure out a dominance in the technology, and b the regulations from a labor standpoint that'll end up protecting. And that's where the fact that the AI is unbiased becomes very critical. Um, but funnily, human beings are a lot more biased. But when we leave it to a machine, we better be sure that it's doing the right thing all throughout, right?
Yeah. See, the beauty is if we are going wrong, we can take it back. Once you make it into the AI, it will not go back. That's
Correct.
the, yeah. So,
Correct.
so that's a scary part of the entire thing.
Correct, correct. No, I think that that leads me to this question, right? So if you're, as a talent acquisition leader, right, technology is now changing talent acquisition. There is a lot of change we have to drive with our teams and what they need to do. Business expectations change faster than any of this.
Of course.
So, what's the advice you would have for TA leaders, right, as they think about this shift? Because customer expectations have changed dramatically, right, and that always happens first. How do you think TA leaders should prepare and go about the shift?
I think first is fundamentals. Fundamentals are not going to change away. So fundamentally, you have to learn the basics of TS. So whether you come from technology, whether you come from marketing, whether you come from anywhere, if you are entering in this word called TA, please learn the fundamentals. I see a lot of people, young people coming in and not understanding the concept and then trying to apply AI.
Right.
My humble advice is first learn the concept. Whether you apply it, not apply it, you use AI, you don't use AI, but please apply it. Second, usage of AI. How do you want to use it? Where you want to use it? If you are fundamentally strong, you will understand it, how it
Correct.
can play around. Otherwise, again, the overusage or underusage will kill you. And third is the landscape of the entire recruitment space is changing. See, I think when we started, we were only doing what we used to call as FTE,
Correct.
which was fixed term resources, fixed term employees, what we call as FTE. Now that landscape is changing. We have FTE, we have contingent workforce, we have
Yeah.
part timers, we have gig workforce. So
Correct.
you have to understand this landscape, because this landscape will be, if you don't understand whether AI, no AI, it will make a major difference. So these three things are fundamental. And last thing I would say, be human, yeah. At the end of the day, you are helping people to do or earn their first paycheck.
Hmm.
Be human. So that is not going to overwhelm. I think these are the core fundamentals I stick to.
Yeah.
I want the entire TA fraternity to stick to. Last, this is my fifth philosophy, is on the integrity and ethics again.
Hmm.
Uh, I always say I wear it right here.
Hmm.
Please wear it. If you don't have it, we are the most vulnerable department, I think, after procurement in this entire or any organization wherever this is happening. So that has to be upmost over here.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the purpose of the function is very strong, right? Because I've always said talent acquisition serves two core facets. You help the organization improve top line and bottom line, because every single job role is made and created for that purpose and that purpose alone. And TA has the person who has the ability to influence that directly. And the second thing is that you actually help people with better lives with every offer and hire you make. So I think the nobility of the purpose is very strong in this function. If you layer that right with the right emotional intelligence, with the right integrity and ethics, and while the box of AI may have changed a lot, if you can still think out of the box with creativity,
Yeah.
and there will always be that scope, then I think it will set you apart. So absolutely loved that, Anshul. Loved that. I will kind of, we are pretty much at the end of the podcast. I want to end with, one bold prediction. Uh, what do you think talent acquisition will look like in 5 years?
5 years is a long time. I'll stick to next 2 years only. I think a lot of, and I said it to my CEO also, and we had a laugh over it. But CHRO space would
Uh-huh.
be taken by CTOs.
Uh-huh.
And I don't mean by that tomorrow our CTO will become the CHRO.
Uh-huh.
What I'm saying is technology-led HR would be the focus.
Right.
No more process and procedures that would define any CHRO function or TA function.
Uh-huh.
And I've expanded it from TA to HR, because I think from that layer it will start changing.
Right.
Uh, so my 2 cents are, please get tech enabled, anybody and everybody. Without
Nice.
that, you will not survive.
Oh, lovely, Anshul. Thank you so much. I think tech orchestration of your function, enablement of training of tech for your teams. I think there is. I loved this, and I'd never seen this coming. I was when I saw the question of 5 years, I thought I should ask it. I also felt it was like, oh my god, if somebody asks me the question, I have no idea. At least not 5 years, but absolutely loved that response. Thank you so much, Anshul. I think this was a kick-ass way for us to start season two. And I'm so glad you made the time, and our audience has learned a ton from this episode. Of It's absolutely full of insights. Thank you.
Thank you. And it was really enjoyable. Great questions. So thanks. And thanks to your team as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much.